يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Walaikum Assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, I'm here with Khuram, Shazad, and we're going to do a podcast about discrimination against sects and cults of the same religion.
Thank you very much, Muhammad Ismael Dar I. It's very nice and a pleasure of mine to meet you today.
Okay, so let's start it off with the first question. Okay, so what is a sect?
Muhammad Ismael Dar I, I think we would have to break this down a little bit, as we can't go straight into it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it doesn't make it simple for our audience, obviously. I would refer to this as first divisions inside religious. So you've got Christians, you've got Judeans, then you have Muslims. Now within the major religions, which they are the Abrahamic religions, within the major religions you have divisions, as in the Christians they have the Eastern Orthodox, the Roman Catholic, and then the Protestants, which are the three major divisions inside Christians. Then you have the Judeans who have Orthodox, the Conservative, the Reform, and the Reconstructionists. And then you have Islam, obviously, which is obviously quite a major part, a major religion. Within Islam, obviously, you have sects such as Sunnism and Shiaism, which are the two major parts of the religion. And then moving forthright from there, then you have subdivisions within them sects within Sunnism, Shiaism, and the schools, which are then subdivided. They don't have major differences. The core beliefs are the same. But yet their ways of practicing are different and similar in the sense as well.
So, what do you think? So, when the religion is there, what creates that sect then? Because you have the people, and then you have different groups, don't you?
Yeah.
Those different groups believe a different thing. Like, for example, after Jesus passed away, there were different groups believing different things.
Yeah.
Whether they were some people could believe in those unauthentic things that other people find unauthentic.
I think the problem here, Muhammad Ismael Saab, is that instead of believing the actual scriptures and keeping the religion simple like our prophets did and following in their footsteps, we've started bringing in our own ideologies. Now, to some extent, to no extent can you surpass that. I mean, any religion is simple if you follow the context. It's with any if you look at schools themselves. You go into a school, you have a syllabus. You follow the syllabus, you pass. If you don't follow the syllabus, you're gonna fail. If you if you're on the subject of science and you try to bring geography into science, you're not gonna pass. It's with anything, you have to make sure that you keep it very simple, very to the context that's actually being passed to us, to the point, as opposed to bringing in our own mixes. It's like you have an original record and then you bring a remix in. The remix is not the same as an actual record, right? Just to target the let the wider audience know what we're talking about.
Okay, so now we need to say how many sects are there in those religions. So in Islam, there are 73 Islamic sects.
Okay.
In the Christian religion, there are 72.
Okay, I
And
didn't
then
know that.
the
Thank you very
Jewish
much.
religions, there is 71. Now, all of this is according to the Quran, where
Okay.
we got this information.
Okay. That's very nice. I mean, really, to be honest with you, it's very shocking to see that there's a one whole religion. It's like having a family, Ismail, and then the family just going in their own directions and not being able to relate with each other anymore. So these sects are causing a division within a religion, which then affect the unity of the religion. Because you see, now when you have these sects, what's happening now is that each sect believes what it believes is right, instead of actually knowing that the right thing is the simple core beliefs.
And it creates like like if, for example, if there was like a big war between the two religions, or like, for example, Palestine and any other country, and the Muslims are going to fight against them. The Muslims wouldn't unite because of this. Just these differences.
I think what we want to do is we want to keep this simple, because remember, we're not trying to mix anything here. You know, I think first of all, no religion teaches war. You know, whether it's the Muslims, Christians, or the Jews, Jewish. I think what we need to realize is that, you know, within any family, and when I say family, you know, I mean religious family, the most important thing is that we have a common belief, and we create peace. Because no religion has ever caused war unless it's been brought onto it.
Yeah.
You see, and all the three Abrahamic religions which we believe in as Muslims, have taught to
respect each other,
not attack each other's beliefs, so our beliefs don't get attacked, and to be very sensitive in the matters of the prophets, in the matters of religious values, beliefs and morals. And I think it's very important to keep that in mind. Otherwise what happens is you get lost, and once you get lost, it's very difficult to heal severed relations, because severed relations or hurt feelings are very difficult to overcome. And I think this is where we need to be sensitive. I mean, especially where we're living in a world where, you know, atheism is a growing issue in terms of the belief within our own systems is becoming weakened to the extent that we don't have no belief anymore. And the coming generations are finding it very difficult to relate to our belief systems because of what is happening. And I think it's very important that we try to unite and keep our faith strong in the with anything, if God, in God, in, you know, in the Supreme Being, to keep our inner peace. Because remember, religion is not about you, me, or anybody else. It's about ourselves, our inner selves, how to look within ourselves to better ourselves, and to look for imperfections inside us, and to work on them imperfections to better ourselves before we can go around and try to better others. And really, Ismail, it can take a lifetime. It can take a lifetime to perfect what we have inside us. So I don't believe that we can work on ourselves enough in life. But I think if you're working on yourself, automatically that reflects on how people look at you, because people look at you then and think, look at this person, you know, he's so tranquil, he's so confident, he's so in his world, and I want to be like him. So you set an example, you set the parameters which people automatically feel through your energy. So it's a very deep subject. I think we're going off the I think we're going off the topic here.
Okay, so I have another question. So we have a sect, but we also have a cult. So Could you
Can you define the difference between a sect and a cult?
Okay, so a sect,
for our audience, please.
Okay, a sect is a group within the religion and still identify within that religion.
Yeah.
And a cult is a group that emerges from that religion and decides to become a new religion. And yeah.
So you're basically saying that they totally change the track of the religion.
Yeah, they create a new religion from within that.
Okay, so what was your question again?
So what do you think the difference is between a sect and a cult?
I think, look, the sect is, the core beliefs still lead you to the same direction. Mm-hmm. And a cult totally changes the syllabus. Mm-hmm. So once you've changed the syllabus, now that religion doesn't, it's not the same. The foundations are not the same. Yeah. The structure now that's gonna emerge from them foundations is not the same. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're weakening the whole makeup, and you're bringing in now weaknesses within something that was already perfect. Mm-hmm. Now Islam, as we know, is as we believe, without disturbing anyone's or affecting or trying to hurt anyone's feelings, because we may have other audiences from the Christian brothers or the Jewish brothers, and
any of this,
any of the other religions.
It's not here to like offend anyone.
It isn't. We are here just to talk and have a wider.
As the title is discrimination, and we're gonna come on to something later to do with it.
So, like I was saying, I think a cult goes against. They are seen as heretical from the people. Well, they go against the actual rules, regulations, or within the parameters of a religion. They exceed them parameters which no longer become that religion, which within itself is perfect as it is. So I think we need to look at this very carefully, Ismail Saab, that we don't, we're not hurting something that already exists. Mm-hmm. It's almost like having a complete theory, for example, for example, having the theory, having a law of kinetics, and then trying to change that into what you think your own ideology, which then totally changes the kinetic theory into something that it's not. And I think I'm going to be scientific there. But with anything, the whole outlook of life, your way of life changes, so it's then totally changed the structure. I think a cult is very disturbing. It's also very discriminating. It's also very offensive.
Okay, so I've got another thing. Yeah. Can there be racism between sects from the same religion?
It's a very big thing. You've got it's very important, and I thank you very much for bringing this up, because it's a very big subject. I think with any religion, before you go on looking at the racism, you need to look at you need to go back to the basics. And when I say go back to the basics, you need to look at the life of the people who brought that religion down for us, who introduced that religion to us. And you need to look at how they handle situations like this. So open conversation is very important, without being offended or without being offensive. So if I was to talk about the life of the Prophet ﷺ, and me and you are sat over here, we should be able to talk and correctify each other without being offended and without being offensive. Yeah. Now this is dialogue. We're not here to discriminate. We're not here to cause no influence or harm. We're here to dialogue, and any dialogue, especially when it concerns Islam, it's a very open dialogue. Yes. So you're allowed to dialogue, and you're allowed to look within other books like the Hadith, like the Quran Pak, to find answers.
But as long as they're like Sahih, authentic, because
Authentic, yeah.
when they have a weak chain of narration, they could come from anywhere.
Yeah, they can.
But this also implies with other religions, like with other books.
Yeah.
Like some believe in the Zabur.
Yeah.
Zabur. Like you can take information from there, but as long as they're authentic and you know that they're authentic.
Yeah.
Because when that comes to like a conversation between you and someone else, and you're trying to like guide them towards you, and you accidentally say something that is unauthentic, and they go home and they search it and they're like, oh well, this person's using unauthentic stuff with me. How would I want to come towards them and to their religion when they're telling me stuff that could potentially be false?
Yeah, I mean, I like the way you use the term guide, because you know all you can do in life is try to guide, and the actual rearing towards what it is, guiding and rearing is similar but different. Where the Lord puts it in your heart to become what you want, there's a fine line between it. So as we were saying, sorry, I kind of like went off the topic, my mind wavered about a bit. So can you just?
Yeah, that's fine.
So if you can just discuss that with us again, please.
What was the topic again that
we were talking? I think about the guiding.
Okay, yeah. So when you like guiding a person towards your religion is like it's like a thing in everything. Every single religion has like a.
But when you believe, when what you believe in is perfect, and when you believe that perfection is the best perfection, you want everyone to be a part of it. If I eat something really nice or I enjoy something, I would then want everyone else to taste that if I have goodness in my heart. Now, if I'm a selfish person, then I'd want to keep all that to myself. But I think with anything good, Ismail, you want it to be a part of everyone's life, not just your own. And I think it's very important to understand that anything good should be shared. It's there to be shared. If you have love for something, or if you have love for the people, like the Prophet ﷺ did, they had so much love for the people that they were willing, they'd cry and they'd take all kinds of pain and all kinds of struggles, strifes, just so everyone could be in heaven, because the beauty of heaven was so beautiful to the Prophet ﷺ, so they wanted everyone to be a part of it. So having that for people is not a bad thing. Or thinking like that is not a bad thing. I think it's when people start being offended by what you're saying because of their beliefs. And I think we should all be open, and that's whether it's me, you, or anybody. We should listen to, if there's a passionate Jewish brother, a passionate Christian brother, we should sit down and listen, because there is nothing wrong with listening and then exchanging ideas. And when we say listening, it doesn't mean to say we start, arguing. We have conversations, we sit down, we enjoy conversations, we listen to their passions, and they be open to listening to your passions. And when your belief is at such a level that you have passion, it's very important that you dialogue and let that passion be known.
Okay, so linking back to what you said, when you listen to that, or Jewish or Christian brother or any brother, what I want to say is take the good and leave the bad.
That's it. I mean, with anything in it, I mean, accept the good, disregard the bad. If you feel that what someone is saying isn't good enough, then you don't need to listen to it. It's as simple as that.
Okay, so have you been through racism against, from another sect of the same religion?
Well, I wouldn't like to say I've been through racism, but I have friends who have different sects. And sometimes when we've been into little debates, which you do, look, we can sit down and we can debate about anything if you want. Sometimes it could be because
let me tell the audience another thing. The best thing to do during a debate is to avoid one, because a debate is more of like a harsh way of like, well, not harsh, but like you get what?
Well, a healthy debate is always good.
Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't say that debating is a bad thing. What I would say is being offensive and getting carried away in that debate is a bad thing.
Yeah.
So like me and you can have a debate, but if I start shouting at you, or if I start becoming so passionate on points that if I don't agree with what you're saying, right, and I start becoming through that debate, I start becoming offensive, I think that's what's bad.
So
Look, even the Prophet, you've got to understand, even the Prophets and the Sahaba sat down and debated on points of Islam. So debating isn't a bad thing. It's getting carried away in that debate, that's a bad thing.
yeah, so I prefer to have a conversation personally. Not saying that it's wrong to have a debate, but personally, I feel like to do a conversation, and through that conversation, you can escalate to that debate. But first, start off like slow.
So
from a
you
conversation.
have to start off slow.
Yeah.
You have to start slow.
Because if you just start off like up and hard, like just like personally, that me and you, well, oh, I believe this, yeah, and you gotta follow that, and like you start coming back like that, innit?
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is like start off, well, like I believe in this, yeah, and that, and is there anything similar that you
as long as you look, you know, with any debate or any conversation, you've got, especially when you're a Muslim, you have to have sufficient evidence from the sources to back up that conversation. Now, if you don't have that, your belief doesn't have any basis now.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So if I'm just bringing, you know, I'm gripping stuff from the air and I'm bringing it in and I'm saying, right, yeah, I believe this, because I've heard it from him, which is true.
Yeah, but you need, like,
or
that's
like
not-
I've
that's what a lot of
heard it
people
from my Mulana, I've heard it from my Pisa, I've heard it from here, which is the truth. I'm going to be honest, right? Or I've heard it from my scholar, and my scholar said this, and yeah, well, my scholar's right. Well, I'm sorry, but you know, if you haven't gone to do sufficient research and you don't know which ayats that has come from or which paragraph, and then you haven't read the paragraph in which the ayat belongs in and what context it was contextualized
And the
in.
best thing to do is when you're listening to those scholars, ask them where it is mentioned and what it's mentioned in, and read it yourself and look through all the interpretations.
It's very important that they do this, because if they're not going to do this, what's going to happen is, I mean, they'll be putting stuff out there that is not authentic.
Yeah.
Authentic in the sense that they don't know where it's come from. If the scholar, Peer, Mufti, Qadri, the Imam, Mullahs, whoever they are, if they are just saying stuff, because you see, you've got to understand, I'm not saying that they'll be lying, there'll be a lot of things that they'll be telling the truth on, or they might even believe what they're saying is from the books, or they might have heard it from somewhere, because you've got to understand, not everyone is as educated and as as researched as others. So I think it's very important that we need to understand that, you know, it's we need to make sure whatever we hear is what we're actually reading, and then you within, like we were talking about the sects within the sects, like, you know, you have then the other thing was the cult. The cult as well. You have a lot of mixture of a lot of things. So if you're not, you don't know the scholar that you're sitting with, what sect they actually come from, is it, or what cult, if they have got any cult in them or not, you don't know. In this day and age, it's very, you have to do a lot of research even to find your your peer or a teacher. It's very difficult.
Yeah, like a lot of madrasas, they don't teach this kind of stuff either, because personally, to a lot of them, they don't either have that knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they just like, they've heard it and they teach it, and a lot of madrasas, they don't have that proper. Like,
I think with madrasas, you got to understand they are teachers, and they and what I call them is syllabus teachers.
Yes,
so they've been taught the Quranic Pak. Then what they're doing is they're teaching you the Quranic Pak. So they're not actually, they haven't studied the Quran. They haven't studied parts of the Quran. They haven't studied anything to pass that knowledge on. Theirs is very restrictive knowledge. Yeah. So they will, most of the times, they will only teach you what they've been taught, because that's their job.
Yeah.
And in order to look at deeper aspects of the religion, you need someone who knows the scripture, who's done research, who's looked into it. And I think, I believe that should answer that question.
But a lot of but the children need this like education now, because like with the growing populations and a lot of people, then they need to know that, well, I need to follow this. And like, for example, if someone from another sect comes and they're like tampering with their brains, and they're like saying something different, and that child could start following it, and this child needs to learn that, okay, well, there's different sects, and we follow this certain like Aqidah or whatever. So they need to learn like a lot more, because these children right now, they don't know as much as like what they need to know, because like, you get what I mean? Like,
I understand what you mean. I mean, I think, you're very right in what you're saying. I think that, you know what, the core beliefs are very important. First of all, we need to try to read our 5 prayers, 5-time prayers, which is first. We need, and I talk about myself before I talk about anyone else, because I'm not going to turn around and say I'm perfect, which I'm not.
no.
Do you know what I mean? So, I think the most important thing is we try to read our 5-time prayer. We try to do good in this world and for our hereafter, and that means that you try not to have no bad intentions for anyone. You don't look down on anyone. You don't let anyone look down on you. It's important that you have for others what you have for yourself, and this is religious. This is from our religion, that have for yourself, have for others what you would have for yourself. Not, oh, I want this and this is mine only, and then I don't want him to have that. Because then what you're doing is a lot of selfish tendencies start coming in, and when selfish tendencies start coming in, you get lost. You're lost in the here and for the hereafter. The other thing is, anything that is right, and if you're going against society, if it's for the right thing, and when I mean the right, let's say for example there's 5 friends and they're going in to do something bad, and you say, no, I'm not doing that. Don't feel ashamed, and don't feel that, oh, you have to be a part of that crowd, because now you are the stronger person. Now you are the closer person to God, even though you might not be extensively religious.
There's a hadith saying that a person who, during a time of corruption, who does a good thing, a sunnah, that person will be rewarded the amount of reward of a 100 martyrs.
Yeah, oh wow, mashallah, I didn't know that. So Ismail, can you just, do you know which hadith this is from, or?
I've read it before
I've read it. So you can always put that into the context at the bottom and write where this has come from, can't you? Yeah. So is there anything else that we can talk about tonight, or?
I think so.
I think we've had a good little conversation on the way. So thank you very much, everybody. And it's been a pleasure talking to you, Muhammad Ismail, and we've had a good conversation about this, and I am very happy. Thank you so much.
Asalamu Alaikum.
Wa alaikum.
يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي